Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live pop-up chat. Oh my goodness, what a 24 hours period it has been. Yesterday I came to you immediately after the Queen had made her broadcast. I did a full review. I retold exactly what she said. I'm sure you are one of the millions around the world that have seen the Queen's message already. And I want to today talk about how that was received by people all over the world. Also, we're going to be talking about the Marquis of Bath, who has sadly passed away, of what is going on in the world right now. The Queen has been informed about her Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. We'll talk about that. We're going to be talking about Dame Vera Lynn's single as well, We'll Meet Again, that famous wartime rousing hit. Also, we're going to be talking about how members of the royal family have also reacted to the Queen's message. So, as always, this is a live chat, and I am going to go straight to the chat room to see who is about. It is Monday the 6th. No, yes, it's Monday. Do you know what? I am losing track of my days. It is Monday the 6th of April 2020, and I am wearing the Queen's Brazilian aquamarine tiara, and just in case you have not seen the magnificence that is this tiara, here it is in all of its glory. Look, get a load of that beauty. There we go. That is a magnificent, splendid tiara. So, right, let's see who is dropping in for this live chat. Here we go, I can see it. And also, I'm wearing coral. Are you impressed? And look, my socks are matching the outfit today. I am fully matching. Are you impressed? I have gone to this level of detail. Also, we are wearing the Queen's flower basket brooch just because we need some of that gorgeousness shimmying down to you all. Hello and welcome. I can just see the chat room. Right, here we go. Yes, hello to everyone, and hello to all of the channel members. We now have 106 channel members, so hello to you all. I can see Sharona, Gangster Gran, Debbie, Canetta, Chanel, Christine. Have I said Canetta? I think I did. Sandy, Lee, H.A. Bracken, Leslie. I can see you all. Hello and welcome. Oh, Gordon says, I'm impressed by the socks. Well, you should be. You should be impressed by the level of detail. Right, okay, so first of all, I think we need to talk about the Queen's message. So, yesterday I made the video telling you all what I thought about it. I dissected it line for line. If you haven't seen that video, do go and check that out. Also, if you haven't seen the Queen's message at this point in time, what are you doing here? Stop this video, pause this video immediately and go and watch it. I think you need to. My goodness, ma'am. If you haven't seen it already, you get a black lacy fan flap from me. Go watch it immediately. Right, okay. So, I want to talk about, first of all, viewing figures. So, as we know, this was broadcast on all of the social medias. It was broadcast on all of the terrestrial channels in the UK. And it was broadcast and shared on social media around the world. So, it's quite difficult to pinpoint exact viewing figures. But we do know that just on last night's live watching, it was calculated that just across the British terrestrial channels, that's BBC, Channel ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5, it had 23 million people watching at that time. That figure does not include people watching on catch-up or any kind of replay figures at the moment. When I last checked, 4.5 million people had viewed it on Twitter. 429,000 people had viewed the Instagram preview. Had viewed it on Instagram, but 2.5 million had viewed the trailer of it on Instagram. I don't think many people know that on Instagram, if you click on the little TV icon, you can actually go to Instagram TV of that channel and you can see the whole thing. So the trailer got 2.5 million views. The actual thing on Instagram, 429,000. 4.4 million people watched it on Facebook, and I am sure Those figures do not even take into account how many times people have shared it and reproduced it and all of that. So, and also the people that are still yet to watch. So it was seen all over the world. I don't think I have seen anything negative said about it. I think the Queen, it's universally accepted that the Queen hit the right tone. It was short, it was to the point, but I think she expressed herself and how we are all feeling. She came across as this grandmotherly figure. I said it last night, she almost seems like she is in a unique place to be able to talk about this from experience. She's the only person that is credible enough to be able to evoke that sense of wartime spirit, because she's the only person in this prominent position that she has to be able to be authentic in her words, authentic, genuine and wise. I think people are looking at her as a queen, but also as a grandmother, not just of this country, of the Commonwealth, but also around the world as well. So I think, you know, universally it was hailed as a great success. Whether or not it will be the last time we will hear from the Queen on this subject, I do not know, depending on how long it goes on for, depending on if there is, you know, well, there will be greater loss, there will be greater hardship, but depending upon the level of that, we may hear from the Queen again at some point. You know, at the minute in the UK, we are kind of, I suppose, in the early stages of what is going on in the world. So, yeah, it was just universally hailed, I think, as a great success. Members of the royal family took to their social medias to support the Queen and share the message. I know William and Catherine did via Kensington Royal Instagram, also on their Twitter. But I wanted to draw attention in particular, I think, to Sarah Ferguson and Princess Eugenie, who also shared. But they also wrote some passionate words as well. So, Princess Eugenie shared the photo of the Queen when the Queen was being recorded, doing that, recording that message. And she said, "Thank you for your words." And of course, remember, this is her grandmother. "They bring us together and unite us in our effort to overcome." Her Majesty the Queen addressed the UK and Commonwealth tonight from Windsor Castle, and then it lists a quote of some of the passage of what the Queen said. So again, I think that was really, really nice and personal of Princess Eugenie to thank her grandmother. Sarah Ferguson shared the same photo, and she said, now this, I think, shows, the level of how much Sarah, Duchess of York, actually holds the Queen in high esteem, in high regard, because she said, "Her Majesty's words touched my core and inspired us to never give up, to unite as we have before, to never forget the British humour, and to remember we should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again." Obviously, that was a passage, an echo of what the Queen said in her message. Sarah saying, "Her Majesty's words touched my core and inspired us to never give up." Sarah obviously still loves the Queen, I think, greatly, deeply, still admires the Queen very, very much. And Sarah didn't have to do that, but she was, obviously supporting her family, supporting, I think, someone who she still probably sees very much as this kind of maternal figure as well in her life. So I just thought that was a really nice, two really nice family messages to say and to show about what was going on. Also, again, following on, do you remember the famous Dame Vera Lynn wartime single of "We'll Meet Again"? You know the one, "We'll meet again, don't know when." You know the one. I'm not going to sing it, but you can buy it. You can buy it on all of the digital downloads, and people have been. The Queen is an influencer, and the Queen's message has almost it has shot Dame Vera Lynn's single up 681 places in the UK, iTunes chart. It is now hovering around about 30. 30 in the charts. It is expected to climb and climb and climb. So we could have a Dame Vera Lynn Will Meet Again hit 2020, and then that would be remarkable. All those years after it first went to the charts, that this single could resurface and become another symbol of hope in a different generation against a different enemy. And the Queen's message has inspired people to think about we'll meet again, because we will meet again. Don't know when, don't know how, but someday we will. And I think that was really, really lovely as well. Right, I'm going to go to the messages before we move on to our other stories and read what people are saying. I'm going down as well. We'll talk about something that just caught my eye in a moment. Sandy says, I'm in the USA. I thought the speech was wonderful and inspirational. A speech for history. Indeed it was. Maria says, your level of detail overwhelms me. You are a true and exquisite tropical fruit. Ooh, me or the Queen? Robert says, the Queen's address was outstanding. Her reference to World War II was the perfect analogy. We are at war. We are. And the Queen, I can't think of another person, a prominent person, a person of, in a position of influence who could have spoken the same way, authentically, like the Queen did. If you can think of someone, let me know. But the Queen was just so genuine and authentic in what she said. People knew, people could believe what she was saying because she believed it. Well, she lives it. She still embodies that spirit. Rebecca says she sets the standard for all world leaders to match. Indeed. No, scrap that. I am going to say no. The Queen is insurpassable with that regard. She doesn't just, set the bar. She doesn't just set the standard. She absolutely smashed it. She knocked it out of the park. Seriously. It was a home run to the Queen. Seriously. Pam G says the Queen's speech... Ooh, where's your comment gone? Here it is. The Queen's speech was captivating, soothing, wonderful, and her leadership and heart is unparalleled. God save the Queen. No one can unite like the Queen, indeed. Charlie T says, agree, the Queen was amazing. Leslie says, I loved it when she said, we will meet again. So many meanings. And that is why Dame Vera Lynn's single has seen a resurgence. Deborah says, watched you often from South Africa. Hello. But for the first time I've ever made a comment. Hello and welcome. I am still a true Brit at heart and felt very proud of my Queen, as we all did. H.A. Bracken says, I think Dame Vera released a statement as well. Ooh, I will have to go and find that and check that out, but that does not surprise me in the least. Martine says, we'll meet again up to number 1. We should. We definitely should. Leanne says, your brooch pops with your coral shirt. Why do you think I chose it, my loves? It's not a coincidence. Barbie says, Queen Elizabeth is what we call here in the USA the greatest generation. She is. But also, I think she is recalling that what we're facing now, although different circumstances, is also a really, really great hardship, the like of which we have not had to face since those wartime days, a prolonged period of suffering. East Coast Artist said the Queen has had a hard year, but she still takes the time to encourage us. She does indeed. And of course, lots of people are saying that you really enjoyed and liked and found useful the Queen's speech. Yeah. So I'm going to move on from that. All I'm going to say now on the Queen's message is that it was unilaterally received as a success. I don't think I have seen anybody, other than maybe hard anti-monarchists who may have an agenda, saying anything negative or bad about it. I think it roused the spirit, it helped to settle the soul, and it has given us the resolve to carry on, get through this, and to meet again. Someday, somehow. Let's get Dame Vera's single to number 1. Right. Also, today I have the very, very sad news of another sad passing due to what's going on in the world right now. As we know, what's going on in the world right now is indiscriminate. It doesn't care how much money you have. It doesn't care about your status. It doesn't care about titles. It can take anybody. And sadly, Lord Bath of Longleat, you know, the eccentric British gentleman who owns the kind of, you know, famous wildlife park here in the UK in a little town called Bath. He has sadly passed away, leaving his title to his son and heir and his wife. And I just thought I would kind of take this time to say my condolences to the family and, of course, friends. He was one of Britain's most... And I smile when I say this because I like remembering characters like this. He was one of Britain's characters. He really was. He had an amazing personality. He was larger than life. He was colourful. He had a life, and what a life it was. I think I need to make almost a separate video on his life because it was colourful. It really, really was. And, you know, in later life, you know, he had a bit of a falling out with his son and heir. Also, his wife as well also had a big falling out with their son, and it was to do, I think, largely, well, some of it was to do with the running of the estate. I think his son, when he kind of took over the running of the estate, made a lot of changes which angered his father, because his father had made a really, really huge mark on the estate of Longleat, and consequently his father didn't attend his son's wedding. But the big biggie was that as a couple, his son and Emma, who is now known as Emma Weymouth, she was the one that appeared on Strictly Come Dancing here in the UK. She and both of them as a couple actually banned his Lord Bath's wife from having anything to do with the children because she made racial and racist remarks about his son's choice of wife. And it was a remark to do with, said to be about ruining the bloodline or something of that nature because she is black. You know, she is the first, well, was the first black Viscountess ever to be in the British aristocracy. She was a breath of fresh air, and it was a really, really big love match between the couple. But the parents didn't quite see it that way, and therefore they were kind of banned from their grandchildren's lives. So now Emma Weymouth becomes the Marchioness of Bath, and you know she is now the Marchioness. She succeeds to that title, obviously, as a spouse of her partner, who becomes the Marquise of Bath. So, you know, big changes at Longleat, although the son has been running the estate for many years. Let me just go up and see what was going on. I had a few links open. Yeah. The announcement of his sad passing was announced on the Longleat Twitter account. So I'm going to read that to you now. It says, "It is with the deepest sadness we have to announce Lord Bath has died at the age of 87. Alexander Thynne, which is his real name, the 7th Marquis of Bath, passed away on Saturday the 4th of April. He was admitted to the Royal United Hospital in Bath on the 28th of March, where it was confirmed he had what's going on right now. The family would like to express their great appreciation for the dedicated team of nurses, doctors and other staff who cared so professionally and compassionately for Alexander in these extremely difficult times for everyone. They would politely request a period of privacy to deal with their loss. So there we have a little bit of sad news. Well, Elise says Lord Bath was a free spirit. He was. And actually, I don't believe that Lord Bath himself was a racist. I think he fell out with his son over the running of the estate. The son made a lot of changes, but it is believed that his wife, who he kind of lived a little bit separately from, it was almost said that their marriage was almost a marriage of convenience, to kind of produce an heir. Now, what's believed is that it was the wife that actually made a series of remarks which upset Emma Weymouth and the son. So yeah, I don't believe that he was, but I think it was his wife that made the comments, and therefore they were banned. But Lord Bath did snub them, I think, because of the changes that he didn't agree with when he took over the running of the estate, effectively when Lord Bath retired. Lord Bath doesn't strike me as somebody that would necessarily be racist. He was a free spirit. He had lots and lots and lots of different partners, shall we say. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was his wife who he was quite distanced from. I think it was she who made the remarks, I think. Yeah, Leanne said, Lord Bath had many mistresses, some were women of colour. Yeah. And yes, he did call them wifelets, I know. Janine says, maybe you could do an article on Lord Bath. Such an interesting life. I mean, you could. I could do one, definitely. Sheen says, Lord Bath was indeed a colourful character. He was indeed. Sharona says the brooch was Queen Mary's. The Queen inherited it from her. Many of the Queen's current jewellery collection was inherited from previous queens. Queen's consort and regnant. Right, I am going... oh, hang on, CH says there's a 2015 YouTube series about the family, about Lord Bath, Colin and Emma. Check it out, it's very interesting. It's called... Yes, All Change at Longleat did document a lot of the changes that were being made at the time. And in fact, actually, that was after... 2015 was after Emma and Colin got married. So yeah, by that point already there had been changes made to the estate. Sylvia says the Queen's address was so sincere, heartfelt and inspiring. Wish we had received something like this from the White House here in the US. I would say demand it. Start tweeting if you feel like you need, or just take the Queen's message. Because like I've said before, I think the Queen's message wasn't just intended for the British people and the Commonwealth. I think it was a message that they knew would be taken around the world. So, you know, hey, just adopt the Queen temporarily, wherever you are, just adopt her and take her message and just take great strength and comfort from her words, because it doesn't matter what country she's from, doesn't matter what country she represents, her words are true. And like I say, I don't think anyone else could have said it the way that she did, with the same meaning as and feeling that she did. So just, I don't know, just temporarily, you can have the Queen. The world can have the Queen. Just, you know, just adopt her as your own, and just unite in her wise words. Right, also, just before her broadcast was broadcast to the world and nation, she was told that her Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, had actually been he already had the you-know-what that's going on in the world, but his symptoms had persisted, so he has actually been sent to hospital. It's believed he had use of some kind of ventilation support while he was there. I think he's in good spirits. Apparently, he sent a tweet from his bedside, but they are running a series of tests. So although he's in hospital, he's having ventilation support, I think, at the moment. They are running tests as well. We believe that he's still, you know, he's okay. He's not kind of, it's not touch and go. He's still at the point of making this video okay. So although in hospital, but he didn't look very good when he came out to the door to clap for the NHS last Thursday. He didn't look well. Also, when he made that video message, he didn't look recovered. Also, Camilla has come out. That's why it says Camilla out. No, Camilla has not been thrown out of anywhere. The Queen has not kicked Camilla out of the castle. Camilla is out of personal self-isolation. So she can now be reunited with Charles again, which I think is really, really lovely. Of course, she never had the dreaded you-know-what, but she had to isolate for 14 days because Charles had it. But as far as we are aware, she has never, ever, ever tested positive for it. So she's now free to be reunited with Charles. They were staying in the same house, but they were staying in different parts of the house. Obviously, Birk Hall in Scotland is a large property, 300 and something years old, I do believe. Right, and that's all that I've got on my list to talk about, unless you've got anything else that you really, really want to talk about. What's the status of the Queen's health? The Queen? Oh, you mean his girlfriend. I'm not entirely sure about Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister's girlfriend. She is pregnant, and she did also catch it as well. But I don't think they've said any other updates on her that I'm aware of at the moment. Leslie says, is he on a vent? Well, we think he had ventilation support because they said that he had oxygen. I think the words were he had something like oxygen support. Well, that's, to me, oxygen support is a ventilator. So they kind of said it without saying ventilator, if you know what I mean. Right. Cheryl says, working from home, appliances, I will catch up later. Enjoy. Enjoy the joys of working from home. Barbie says, I completely agree. Boris did not look well. Hope he's well soon. I think he needs to rest because don't forget, he's still the Prime Minister, even though he's going through this. So I imagine he will have been trying to work very, very hard from his bedside. And I think he probably just needs to stop. I think he needs to hand over all responsibilities to his deputy whilst he gets himself better. He needs to just concentrate on getting better. Maybe he needs to take, you know, a week or 2 weeks off to just concentrate on himself and recover fully. Leslie said, ooh, you can have oxygen support without a ventilator. Maybe. Maybe that's the tubes up the nose. I don't know. Anyway, he's had oxygen. Oxygen support somewhere. Right, okay. I'm going to leave it here. So, oh, by the way, also, YouTube is not sending out videos to people. I think if you've hit the bell, you might still be getting notifications. But in terms of YouTube pushing it out to people who might like the videos, people discovering the videos, YouTube has not been pushing things out. So if you want to help the channel, it would really, really help if you shared my videos on platforms like Facebook, share them in the different royal groups on Facebook, because YouTube is not doing it at the moment. They are low on manpower, they are low on the ability to review videos to make sure they're suitable for advertisers, all that stuff, which is affecting creators. It's not just affecting this channel, it's affecting lots and lots and lots of different channels all over YouTube. I've spoken to other creators out there, not in the royal field, so it's not even just affecting, you know, royal channels, news channels, it's affecting everything. So if you want to help and support beyond watching the videos, please, please, please share my videos on places I think probably Facebook groups is probably the best. Appropriate Facebook groups. So, again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So, also subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps. And on my third channel, Elliot's British Life, I have my weekly vlog set to premiere at 7 p.m. GMT. So do go over to Elliot's British Life on YouTube. That's Elliot's British Life on YouTube. And you can set a reminder for the premiere. So, without further ado, from me in Shropshire, mwah, to you all, and stay safe.